It's March 2024 on a quiet street in Wimbledon. Watch carefully. In the top left, a man enters the picture. He's Pouria Zeraati, a TV journalist whose outspoken criticism of Iran has made him an enemy of its ruling class, his image plastered on billboards. On the other side of the street are two men in black. They begin heading in his direction. He doesn't yet run away because he doesn't know who they are, but they know him because they've been watching and waiting for months. They've been deployed by the Iranian state and they're armed.
All I was thinking was, will I be alive in next few seconds or not?
I've spoken to Pouria about how this terrifying knife attack unfolded just outside his home, an attack that began long before.
My wife noticed two strange people trying to get into the driveway.
This feels then like an attack that should have been stopped.
But how many more Iran-sponsored criminals are roaming our streets, and are we doing enough to track them down? Pouria Zeraati is walking the streets of London again, but the sense of fear that drove him away hasn't disappeared. Even agreeing to this interview required him to tell the police where he would be and when.
When you are in this job, Rohit, even now, you don't ever feel that you're safe. You know, you always need to look back to your shoulder.
You just did it just then.
Yeah.
That was a builder walking by.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this explains why. On Good Friday, 2024, these two men travelled to his neighbourhood in southwest London. They'd been watching him, and as they left for Wimbledon, they knew where he would be.
It was like in the middle of afternoon. I was planning to go to a studio to present my show, because my show is every Friday. I just left the house. I got out of the gate. At that moment, I noticed another guy approached from the same side of the street as our place is. He crossed the street as well. I moved to the driver's side from the back of the car. He moved to the car from the front side. And he was standing there. I got a bit suspicious. Before getting to the door, I just looked at him, just, what do you want? He said, can I have £3 change? I told him that I don't have any change. And I was about to unlock the door and get into the car, and another person approached from the back side. He grabbed me by my arms in a way that I couldn't move my hands. And the first person who asked for money, I saw him taking out a knife from his pocket. He looked at me in the eye. He grabbed my shoulder with one hand, and with the other hand, he started stabbing me. Rapidly, very rapidly. And then by the time I stood up, looked at them, they were running away very fast. At that moment, I started dialing 999 to call them. And meanwhile, I looked at my leg, and I just noticed it's all in red. I just felt a bit weak because I was losing a lot of blood. That uncertainty for a few seconds probably is the worst moment of my life. Because in those 2-3 seconds while it happened, all I was thinking was where he's gonna stab. He's gonna stab my neck, my heart, my kidney. Will I be alive in next few seconds or not? At the beginning, I was thinking it's a robbery, which quite a lot happens in London. And then I noticed nothing was taken from me. My watch, my crossbody bag, which I had some cash and my wallet in it, and my phones, everything. And at that moment, it clicked that this is related to the threats.
What we know now is this. Pouria was the target of a trio of Romanian men. Nandito Badea, a former footballer turned builder, was one of the two men who approached Pouria in the street. George Stana, the getaway driver, was sitting nearby in this Mazda, a towel and cleaning products to hand. He and Nandito have both been found guilty of wounding with intent. The other man who confronted Pouria, believed to be David Andre, hasn't been on trial because he couldn't be extradited from Romania. Pouria recovered quickly, and within days he was back at work.
درود بر شما با یک هفته تأخیر
I was with him as he returned to the studio with a message to his viewers and the regime that he wouldn't be beaten.
We won't be silenced. This attack is not about me. I need to clarify that. It's against the job I do, and it's against the audience, I think, who are interested in hearing and watching what I say.
Arrests would soon be made, but for his family's safety, Pouria felt he had to leave Britain, and he moved to Israel. But for the following 2 years, he would remain completely unaware of important details about one of his attackers, and about a moment that he now calls shocking, when the plot against him might have been foiled. Pouria's channel is called Iran International. With a reputation for honest reporting about the regime, it is seen as an adversary. Credible threats against their studios in West London in 2023 forced them to leave at short notice. Later that year, a few months before Pouria was stabbed, I exposed an assassination plot against 2 of his colleagues at the channel. The regime had tried to hire local criminals to kill 2 of its star presenters in London. The plotters called their plan The Wedding, using code names to avoid detection. I was able to communicate with one of them. They referred to their targets as the bride and the groom in messages we obtained and broadcast on ITV News. The groom was Fardad Farazad, a primetime anchor who had no idea the regime was trying to kill him until I flew to his new office in Washington to show him what we'd discovered.
This is the guy who was the double agent.
Hearing it firsthand makes it more real, and quite shocking to see people who are just casually talking about harming you.
His former co-star Seema Sabet was also unaware she'd been under surveillance in the plot.
The fact that the Islamic Republic had tried to kill me, it shows that I was doing my job very well, I was effective.
Eventually, the organisers were sanctioned by the British government.
Threats to kill, threats to assassinate. That's what we're talking about here. These journalists working for this Iranian television channel here in Britain, they were threatened with assassination. It was only stopped because of brilliant intelligence and policing work, quite rightly revealed by ITV.
But their scheme revealed a new tactic being used by the Iranian regime.
When I watched your report, I just noticed, so this is the new way of conducting attacks outside Iran.
In 2022, with the protest movement growing in Iran and the regime under pressure, Pouria was told that he could be under threat, but it was his wife who was given a direct warning in person as she walked through West London.
When she was going to the gym, a motorcycle approached her with 2 riders. One of them said in Farsi that we know where you live, we know what your husband does, we're going to come after you and kill you very soon. The police came to our apartment, they installed some sensors, they gave us panic buttons, which they took them out actually later in January because they said there is no more threat against you, which is a bit strange to me.
So the police removed your sensors, your panic buttons. They labelled you as essentially as being not at risk anymore.
Yeah, because probably their consideration was the protests were slowing down in Iran and there were no more like uprising.
But of course, that wasn't the end. And only now is Pouria learning that a suspicious encounter at their home a year later, a year before he was stabbed, was actually reconnaissance for the attack that would follow. His wife filmed this in 2023. For 3 years, they barely gave this footage a second thought.
Because they didn't tell us anything afterwards, I was thinking, so probably that was a random thing. We just, had a wrong assumption about these guys. Maybe there were some people trying to do something in our building. It wasn't something suspicious as we thought. So because we did receive no updates afterwards.
But one of these men was George Starner, part of the group just convicted of his stabbing. A year before that attack, police had investigated his suspicious behaviour, but no charges were brought.
After what happened on that day in March 2023, with all the things, with the suspicious things they discovered in their bags and stuff, they were foreign nationals. They didn't even inform us at the time in 2023 that, Pouria, we just found these people in your area. It's better for you to change your address.
This feel then like an attack that should have been stopped.
I'm talking to the police that they needed to have at least one of the scenarios they needed to consider was this might be linked to Pouria. I wasn't contacted afterwards. A year after that, it happened. I wasn't informed about any connection between 2023 to 2024 incidents. And the first time I noticed was during the trial.
So what's your verdict on the Metropolitan Police handling of that 2023 incident?
It's not something that I expected, obviously. You know, it's not something, I'm really shocked.
And at the time, it was treated as it presented of a suspicious incident in a communal area, and local policing provided excellent response to it. And it's only with the investigation into the stabbing we were able to look backwards and then realise in context that in itself was hostile reconnaissance and attack planning.
Attacks in the UK linked to Iran have grown over the last few years. During the latest war with Israel and the US, it's hit a new tempo. By enlisting local criminals, the Revolutionary Guard has added capability to intentions and can commission assaults and assassinations, then deny them with plausibility. For Pouria, his case should now be a warning to the government to join other countries in prescribing the IRGC.
These people should face the consequences, and they are. But more important to me was the regime has been recognized as the main responsible of this attack, because this can lead, especially in the UK, to politicians and decision makers in this country to finally rethink their policies towards the IRGC and the regime.